The police officer closed the brown file, stood up, and said, "This case is over." "What do you mean, over?" my mother asked. Her voice shook. The officer did not look at her. He did not look at me either. He only said, "There will be no more investigation. No more questions. Please stop coming here." Then he walked away. Inside the file was my brother's name. Inside the file was the photo of our house. Inside the file was the last thing my brother ever recorded. And the police refused to explain why they were done. That was the moment I knew something was very wrong. Something they didn't want us to know. Something that still lived in our house. 3 weeks earlier, life was normal. My name is Daniel. I am 12 years old. I live with my mother, my father, and my older brother, Mark. Mark was 16. He liked video games and fixing broken phones. He laughed a lot and never scared easily. Our house was old but quiet. It had creaky floors and long hallways, but it felt safe. Until the night Mark went missing. It started with a small thing. One night, Mark told me someone knocked on his bedroom door while everyone was asleep. He said the knock was slow. Knock. 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 I laughed and told him he was dreaming. But Mark didn't laugh. "The door didn't open," he said. And when I checked, no one was there. The next day, nothing strange happened. That was a low moment. Calm. Normal. Then the next night, Mark heard the knocking again. This time, he recorded it on his phone. He showed me the video. The sound was clear. Slow knocks. Heavy knocks. Like a fist hitting wood. But when he opened the door in the video, the hallway was empty. No one. Mark stopped smiling after that. 2 days later, our dog started barking at the hallway at night. He would bark and growl at nothing. My parents said it was rats. I didn't believe them. That same night, Mark told me something worse. "Daniel," he whispered. "I heard breathing." "From where?" I asked. "From inside the walls." That was the first high moment. Fear hit me hard. The next day was quiet again. School. Homework. Dinner. Another low moment. Then came the night everything changed. At 2:14 a.m., Mark screamed. I woke up and ran to his room. His door was open. His phone was on the floor, still recording. Mark was gone. No broken windows. No open doors. No blood. Just his phone. The police came. They searched the house. They asked questions. They checked the walls. They found nothing. That was another low moment. Confusing. Silent. Then the police found the last video on Mark's phone. They watched it once. Their faces changed. One officer turned the phone off very fast. Another officer told us to sit down. "What's on the video?" my father asked. They didn't answer. That night, they took the phone with them. The next day, they told us Mark was missing. 2 days later, they stopped coming. 1 week later, they called us to the station. That's when the officer closed the file and said the words I will never forget. The police closed the case without explanation. And as we walked out of the station, I noticed something chilling. The brown file did not have Mark's photo anymore. It had a picture of our house. And written under it in red ink were 4 words. The night after we saw the words in red ink, the knocking came back. Not on Mark's door. On my door. Knock. 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 Slow. Heavy. Careful. I froze under my blanket. My heart beat so loud I thought it would give me away. I stared at my door. The handle did not move. Then a voice spoke. It sounded like Mark. "Daniel," it said softly. "Open the door." I screamed. My parents rushed in. My door flew open. The hallway light came on. Nothing was there. No one. No Mark. That was the extreme event that began Chapter 2. The next morning, my parents acted like nothing happened. They said I had a nightmare. They said stress was making us hear things. That was a low moment. Calm on the outside. Fear inside. But I knew the truth. Mark was not gone. Something was pretending to be him. I stopped sleeping well. I stayed awake at night, listening. Every sound felt dangerous. The house did not feel safe anymore. During the day, things felt normal again. Sunlight came through the windows. Birds sang. That made everything feel confusing. Low moments always came after highs. Like the house wanted us to forget. One afternoon, I went into Mark's room. My parents told me not to, but I needed answers. His room smelled the same. His bed was still messy. His computer was still on his desk. I turned it on. There was one video file saved on the desktop. It was not there before. The file name was strange. 2_14_am_final. My hands shook as I clicked it. The video showed Mark's room. The timestamp said 2:14 a.m. Mark was sitting on his bed, holding his phone. He looked scared. I hear it again, he whispered. It's inside the walls. Then the sound came. Scratching. Slow scratching. Like nails dragging on wood. Mark stood up. He pointed the camera at the wall. The wall moved. Not cracked. Moved. Like something was pushing from the inside. Then the wall opened. Not broke. Opened like a mouth. Something dark reached out. The video ended. That was another high moment. Pure terror. I closed the laptop and ran. That night, my parents argued. I heard my father say the police warned them. I heard my mother cry. Another low moment followed. Silence. Sadness. The next day, a man came to our house. He wore plain clothes. No badge. No smile. He told my parents he worked for the city. I need to check something, he said. He went straight to the hallway wall. The same wall from the video. He pressed his hand against it. The wall pressed back. I saw it. He pulled his hand away fast. You must not stay here at night anymore, he said. Why? My mother asked. The man looked at me. Because it has learned your voices. Then he left. That night, we packed bags. We planned to sleep at my aunt's house. At 11:59 p.m., the power went out. The house went dark. The hallway wall began to breathe. In and out. In and out. Then we heard Mark's voice again. But this time, it wasn't calling my name. It was calling my parents. And the wall began to open wider than before. The wall opened with a sound like wet wood tearing. My mother screamed. My father pulled us back, away from the hallway. The breathing grew louder. The voice pretending to be Mark changed. It stretched. It sounded wrong. Mom, it said. Dad? That was the extreme event that started Chapter 3. We ran outside barefoot. The night air was cold. The house lights flickered even though the power was gone. From outside, the house looked normal. Quiet. Empty. That was a low moment. A false calm. We stayed at my aunt's house that night. No knocking. No voices. No breathing walls. In the morning, my parents decided we could never go back. They called the police again. The police did not ask questions. They did not send officers. They said, "Do not return to the property." That was all. Low moment. Silence again. 2 days later, the house was boarded up. Yellow tape was placed around it. No signs. No warnings. Just tape. People stopped walking near it. At night, lights turned on inside by themselves. I watched from across the street once. I saw shadows move behind the curtains. The house was not empty. 1 week later, a letter arrived. No name. No address. Inside was a single photo. It showed our hallway. The wall was fully open. And written on the back were the words, "IT is not finished." High moment. Fear returned stronger. That same night, I heard knocking again. Not on a door. On the wall beside my bed. Knock. 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 Slow and careful. My aunt's house did not have that wall. I did not answer. The knocking stopped. The next morning, my father was gone. His phone was left on the kitchen table. The police came. They watched one video. They turned pale. Then they did the same thing again. They closed the file. No explanation. No search. No help. Another extreme moment. I knew then the truth. The house was not the problem. The thing followed families. It learned voices. It waited. That night I checked my phone. There was a new video. Recorded at 2:14 a.m. It showed me sleeping. From inside my room. From inside the wall. And behind the camera. Something whispered my name.